Now they're using these black flags because there's hadiths about the black flags coming from Afghanistan towards the end of time. But they don't know that there's actually two different black flags. There's the black flags of Bani Abbas, but then there's another group of black flags that we were warned against. Sayyidina Ali said, ثُمَّ يَظْهُرُ قَوْمٌ ضُعَفَاء لَا يُؤْبَأُ لَهُمْ. Then you will see these weak, insignificant people. لَا يُؤْبَأُ لَهُمْ. Insignificant people. Insignificant people. These are not notables. They have no learning. There's no scholars amongst them. Insignificant people. قُلُوبُهُمْ كَزُبْرَ الْحَدِيدِ. Their hearts are like pieces of iron. And in a riwayah, لَا رَأْفَةٌ وَرَا رَحْمَةٌ عَلَى عَدُوِّهِمْ. They have no mercy with their enemies. And the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمْ لَا يُرْحَمْ. Even this poor mother asking for her child to be, and let me say something, just predicate this here. I'm not exonerating these neoconservatives that opened this door. All right? I'm not exonerating what this country did to the Iraqi people. All right, who opened the door of fitna? I'm not exonerating them. So I'm not talking, but I'm dealing with what we've got right now. That happened. Now we have another situation. We can play the blame game because that's Iblis's favorite game. لا يفون بعهد ولا ميثاق. They will not have any covenant. You can't trust them with anything that they say. يدعون إلى الحق وليسوا من أهله. They call to the truth, but they're not from the people of the truth. دعاة على أبواب النار من أجابهم قذفوا فيه. Those who, they're callers on the doors of the hell. If you answer them, if you respond to their call, you will be flung into the hell. Hudayfa said, صفهم لنا يا رسول الله. Describe them for us so we'll know them. هم من جلدتنا. They're Arabs. They're like us. من جلدتنا. They look like us. يتكلمون بألسنتنا. They'll quote the Quran, they'll quote the hadith. This is how the Prophet ﷺ described them. In the hadith then he says, أسماؤهم الكنى. This is how you know them. Their names are Abu so-and-so and Abu so-and-so. They don't go by their real names. أسماؤهم الكنى ونسبتهم القرى. And they go back to towns, places. They don't go to tribes because the Arabs, they go by tribes. These people know they go by places. Al-Baghdadi, Al-Ambari, Al-Juwayshi, all these names of their towns that they're from. Al-Libi, Al-Musri, Al-Maghribi. They go back to places. This is what the Prophet ﷺ, because it has hukum al-rafa'. وَشُعُورُهُمْ مِرْخَاتٌ كَشُعُورَ النِّسَاءِ. They have long hair, wearing it like women. Look at all the pictures of these guys with their long hair. حَتَّى يَخْتَلِفُوا فِي مَا بَيْنَهُمْ. They'll start fighting amongst each other. That's the nature. In this, إِذَا خَرَجَتْ الرَّايَةَ السُّودِ. If you see the black flags, فَإِنَّ أَوَّلَهَا فِتْنَةٌ. It begins with a fitna. وَوَسَطَهَا ضَلَالَةٌ. And the midst of it is delusion, misguidance, error. But then he said, شَيَّعُوا أُمَّتِي. They split my ummah. وَأَلْبَسُهُمْ ثِيَابَ السَّوَادِ. And they put black clothes on them. أَلْبَسُهُمْ ثِيَابَ النَّارِ. May God put clothes of fire on them. These people are Khawarij. They're killing Muslims. They've every single criteria. And don't be fooled by their piety. Don't be fooled by their piety, because the Prophet ﷺ said, عند صلاتهم تحقرون صلاتهم. When you see them pray, you'll consider your prayer insignificant. وعند صيامهم تحقرون صيامكم. But he said, يقرؤون القرآن ولا يتجاوز حناجرهم. They'll recite the Quran, it won't go past their throats. The ulama said it means they won't understand it. Because they don't have the tools. You can't understand the Quran without the tools. They won't understand it. And then he said, يَمْرُقُونَ مِنَ الدِّينِ Sahih Bukhari. يَمْرُقُونَ مِنَ الدِّينِ كَمَا يَمْرُقُ السَّهْمُ مِنَ الرَّمِيَّةِ. They will leave this religion like an arrow is shot out of a bow. There's confusion. We have people in this country going overseas. It is hard to believe, but there's people going to join up, to join the Khilafah. We have people in England going to join the Khilafah. People from Muslim countries now going. There was a young Tamimi boy going from Riyadh. He was first year religious student. Goes online, says, come join the Khilafah. Here's the Caliph. Right? And so they go. This is a madness, complete insanity. It's unbelievable. The Prophet ﷺ said, what will you be like? Ma antum, what are you? He didn't even say man antum, ma antum. Like, what are you? Because ma is used for no intellects. What are you? إِذَا مَرِجَ دِينُكُمْ, when your religion becomes confused. وَسُفِكَتْ دِمَاءُكُمْ, and bloodshed is everywhere. This is the disease of young men. The Prophet ﷺ, there's a chapter called هَلَاكُ أُمَّتِي عَلَى أُغَيْنِمَةٍ سُفَهَا, the destruction of my ummah at the hands of stupid young boys. Stupid young boys. But nobody wants to follow the people of knowledge. That's the first thing. The people of knowledge have no voice anymore. It's just all these young boys out there on Google. That's who now rules this religion. Young boys, not people that will spend 20 years to study the religion, to look at what the fuqaha say. Now it's just young boys. This is who runs our religion. This is who gives the fatwa now. The Prophet ﷺ was a merciful person. When Khalid ibn Walid, in Sahih Bukhari, when Khalid ibn Walid actually had prisoners, and they were so confused they couldn't speak properly, and then he had them killed. Some of the men that were with him refused to kill them because لا تعطي لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. They refused to kill the prisoners. They said, we're not going to do that. When they got back to the Prophet ﷺ, they told the Prophet what happened, that he killed the prisoners. The Prophet turned immediately to the Qibla, raised his hands and said, Oh Allah, I'm completely innocent of what Khalid has done. I'm completely innocent of what Khalid has done. Because why? يُطْعِمُونَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. They feed out of love of God, the orphan, the indigent, the poor people, and the prisoner. The Prophet ﷺ took care of his prisoners. So, if you look at these ayahs where Allah gives permission to fight, permission was granted, it's a idhn, it's a rukhsa. Fighting is not something desirable. The Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Bukhari, لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو. Don't desire to meet the enemy. Don't desire that. This is a sickness in the heart. People that desire to go is a sickness in the heart. In Sahih Bukhari, in the chapter which is called the fitna التي تموج بعضها في بعض, fitna that comes like waves, one after another, just one after another. It comes like waves. It says that Khalaf ibn Hawshab said, كانوا يستحبون الصحابة كانوا يستحبون أن يتمثلوا بأبيات امرئ القيس. They used to recite jahili poetry. When the fitn would come, they would recite jahili poetry. What they would recite? الحرب أول ما تكون فتية تسعى بزينتها لكل جهول حتى إذا اشتعلت وشبت ضرامها ولت عجوزا غير ذات حليل. They would recite the poem to remind each other. The fitna, when it first appears, it appears like a decked out beautiful woman attracting every young ignoramus. Every young ignoramus. Until the conflagration happens, war breaks out, and then they see it for what it is. An old hag no longer desirable. Nobody wants it. Now chopping off heads of people that go there to actually inform people about the atrocities that are taking place. This is how you treat prisoners, and it's all just vengeance. It has nothing to do with Islam. These people have nothing to do with Islam. And I'll say it right here. They have nothing to do with Islam. These people have nothing to do with this religion.